Perception shapes reality. Thought molds the unseen. This audiobook reveals the alchemy of the mind, the secret that transforms mere awareness into mastery. Once you unlock it, you won't need to chase reality. Reality will flow to you. The Alchemy of Mind. Introduction. Beyond the surface of your thoughts lies a profound mastery of the universe itself, an ancient wisdom that the greatest minds have sought but few have fully unlocked. You are standing at the precipice of an extraordinary revelation where the alchemy of the mind merges with the fabric of reality. This is not a journey of mere theories or distant concepts. It is the path to true mastery. What if the reality you experience isn't a product of the world around you, but a reflection of the mind you cultivate within? What if you have always held the power to shape, bend, and transcend your experiences simply by mastering the laws that govern perception and thought? The mind is not just a tool. It is the forge where the formless becomes form, where the invisible laws of the universe are made visible. In this exploration, you will discover that true transformation does not require external effort or struggle. The mind's alchemy is about unlocking a silent power that has always been within you, waiting to be awakened. Here, you will learn not to chase desires or bend reality to your will, but to shift the very foundation of your perception. It is not about creating from lack, but about recognizing the abundance that has always surrounded you. This journey is not about gaining new knowledge. It is about remembering the infinite wisdom that lies dormant within. Once you unlock the secrets of the mind's alchemy, reality will not just change, it will begin to dance with you. This is where your mastery begins. Are you ready to awaken the power within and master the alchemy of your mind? If yes, type, "I am ready," in the comments to signal your commitment to the universe. And remember, hit the thumbs up and subscribe to join the first 1,000 who will transform their reality on this journey. Chapter 1. The Unseen Layers of Reality. Beyond the surface, illusion reality appears simple. The sky stretches above, the ground holds steady beneath our feet, and the objects around us seem solid and unchanging. But beneath this surface, there is something far more profound at work. What we perceive as reality is only a thin layer, a fraction of a much greater whole. We navigate life believing that what we see, hear, and touch represents the full truth. Yet, just as an ocean's surface reveals nothing of the vast depths below, our senses only provide a shallow glimpse of existence. The unseen layers of reality are not distant. They are present at every moment, shaping everything we experience. What we call the physical world is not as it seems. It is not a collection of separate objects floating in empty space, but a complex network of energy fields, patterns, and forces that interweave to create the illusion of solidity. A tree appears firm and motionless, yet at a microscopic level, its atoms vibrate with energy. Even the most rigid mountains, over time, shift, erode, and dissolve, revealing that what appears stable is actually in constant motion. The same is true for everything around us. What we perceive as solid and unchangeable is simply a projection of deeper forces, unseen yet ever present. The walls that enclose a room may feel fixed, but they are not truly barriers. They are formations of energy, held together by invisible interactions beyond ordinary perception. Space and time, the very dimensions in which we exist, are also not as absolute as they appear. We move through life measuring time by clocks and calendars, believing that each second passes in a fixed, unalterable way. But time is not a rigid force flowing independently of us. It bends, stretches, and shifts depending on how it is observed. A moment of deep stillness can feel eternal, while years can vanish in the blink of an eye. The experience of time is not universal. It is shaped by perception. Space, too, is far more fluid than it seems. While we experience it as a vast emptiness separating objects, modern discoveries suggest that nothing is truly separate. The distances we see are an illusion, as everything exists within an interconnected web, woven by forces we have yet to fully understand. Throughout history, both ancient wisdom and modern science have pointed to the same fundamental truth. Reality is not built from solid matter, but from energy. The ancients spoke of an unseen force that animates all things, the breath of life that flows through every living being and connects everything in existence. In different cultures, it has been called prana, chi, ether, or the fabric of the cosmos. Today, science reveals a strikingly similar understanding. Quantum physics shows that matter is not a collection of fixed particles, but a field of probability, where forms emerge and dissolve based on unseen influences. Particles shift, change, and even appear to be in multiple places at once, blurring the boundaries between existence and possibility. If matter is energy, then what we see as real is only a temporary expression of something deeper. The world is not made of things. It is made of movement, vibration, and unseen forces constantly shaping what we perceive. The body, the objects around us, even the stars in the sky, all of it is a dance of energy forming patterns for a brief moment before shifting again. The unseen layers of reality are not somewhere far away. They are woven into everything we experience, hidden in plain sight. Reality is not a fixed structure. It is a living, breathing field of energy, and we are immersed in it completely, whether we realize it or not. Chapter 2. The Mind as a Portal, Accessing Higher Planes of Existence. The mind is often thought of as a tool for thinking, analyzing, and remembering, but its true nature goes far beyond processing thoughts. It is not just a passive receiver of information from the physical world. It is an active gateway to other dimensions of reality, just as a door can open to reveal an entirely different space. The mind has the potential to shift awareness beyond the visible world, connecting to realms that exist beyond ordinary perception. These realms are not imaginary. They are real but hidden, existing at frequencies that the human senses do not normally detect. Just as radio waves fill the air around us, unseen yet present, higher planes of existence are always there, waiting for the mind to tune into them. Throughout history, individuals who have accessed these higher states of awareness have described strikingly similar experiences. Some have called it divine revelation, others enlightenment, and some the unfolding of deep inner vision. These experiences suggest that the mind is not confined to the boundaries of the physical body. It can reach into dimensions where time, space, and form dissolve, revealing knowledge and understanding beyond anything the physical senses can grasp. What is perceived in these states often feels more real than everyday life, as if a veil has been lifted to expose a deeper truth that has always been present. Dreams are one of the most common ways people unknowingly access these higher planes. While the body sleeps, the mind is freed from the constraints of the physical world and can move beyond ordinary consciousness. In these moments, people experience places they have never visited, receive knowledge they could not have known, and sometimes even communicate with entities that do not exist in waking life. Some dreams carry messages, guiding individuals toward realizations they would not have reached otherwise. Others reveal glimpses of other dimensions, where the rules of time and space no longer apply. Those who have had lucid dreams, where they become aware they are dreaming and can consciously navigate the dream world, often describe a sense of clarity and expanded perception, as if they have momentarily stepped into a reality beyond the one they know. Beyond dreams, altered states of consciousness provide another doorway to higher realms. Meditation, deep contemplation, and certain rhythmic practices can shift the mind into frequencies where perception expands. Many who engage in these practices describe experiences of floating beyond their body, feeling an immense connection to the universe, or receiving insights that feel as if they are coming from a source beyond themselves. These altered states reveal that the mind is capable of existing beyond the physical. It can travel beyond the limits of time, communicate with energies that are not bound to the material world, and tap into wisdom that does not come from books or teachers, but from direct experience. Throughout history, mystics, shamans, and visionaries have recognized the mind's ability to transcend ordinary reality. These individuals have devoted their lives to exploring and mastering the art of moving beyond the five senses, developing techniques to access knowledge and forces that exist beyond the material plane. Shamans enter trance states through rhythmic drumming or deep meditation, stepping into other worlds to retrieve information, heal, and guide others. Mystics speak of moments when the barriers between self and the universe dissolve, revealing an infinite expanse of consciousness where all things are interconnected. Visionaries describe revelations that arrive not through logic or study, but through sudden flashes of insight that seem to come from beyond. These experiences are not random. They follow patterns that have been observed across cultures and throughout time, suggesting that they are not merely personal illusions, but glimpses into real aspects of existence that remain hidden in ordinary states of awareness. The mind is not bound to the brain, while the brain is the physical organ that processes thoughts and regulates bodily functions. The mind itself is something much greater. It extends beyond the body, interacting with forces and dimensions that cannot be seen with the eyes or touched with the hands. Those who have had out-of-body experiences, near-death experiences, or moments of deep transcendence often describe a feeling of expanding beyond themselves, as if their awareness is no longer trapped within the limits of flesh and bone. They see, hear, and understand things in a way that defies conventional explanation, as if stepping momentarily into a higher plane of existence before returning to ordinary life. These experiences point to a profound truth. The mind is a portal. It is not limited to the physical. It is an instrument of perception that, when properly attuned, can unlock access to realms beyond the visible. Some stumble upon these realities by accident, through dreams, spontaneous visions, or profound moments of synchronicity. Others actively seek them, using meditation, deep contemplation, or sacred practices to refine their awareness and move beyond the illusion of separation between themselves and the greater expanse of existence. The more one learns to shift awareness, the clearer it becomes that the mind is not just a receiver, it is a gateway to realities unseen but ever present, waiting to be explored. Chapter 3. The Fractal Nature of Existence. How patterns repeat across all levels. Reality is not chaotic. It is structured in a way that follows deep, repeating patterns. These patterns are not limited to nature or mathematics. They govern thoughts, emotions, experiences, and even the unfolding of history itself. Everything, from the smallest structures in existence to the grandest cosmic formations, follows the same underlying design. This structure is known as the fractal nature of reality, a principle that reveals how the same forms, sequences, and cycles repeat endlessly at every level of existence. A fractal is a pattern that repeats itself in smaller and larger scales, maintaining the same fundamental structure, no matter how much it expands or contracts. In nature, this can be seen in the branching of trees, the formation of galaxies, the spirals of seashells, and even the veins in a leaf. These are not coincidences. They are expressions of the same underlying law that shapes reality itself. The human body, too, follows this principle. The branching of neurons resembles the structure of lightning. The blood vessels in the body mirror the river systems of the earth. And even DNA carries a fractal pattern in the way it coils and replicates. These reflections are not separate. They are evidence that reality is built upon self-repeating structures that extend infinitely in all directions. These patterns do not just exist in physical structures. They extend into experiences, thoughts, and relationships. The situations you face in life are not random occurrences. They follow a repeating structure, just like nature's fractals. The same types of challenges, emotional cycles, and personal dynamics appear again and again, often in different forms, but always carrying the same underlying pattern. This is why people find themselves in similar situations repeatedly, whether in relationships, careers, or personal struggles. The external circumstances may change, but the core experience remains the same, revealing that existence follows a structured rhythm. Recognizing these repeating patterns allows one to break free from cycles that seem to trap them. If the same struggles appear over and over, it is not because life is unfair, but because one is still aligned with that particular frequency of experience. When the vibrational state shifts, the repeating patterns also transform, allowing new experiences to emerge. The fractal nature of existence also governs the emotions and thoughts that flow through the mind. Just as a small ripple in a pond can expand outward, a single thought can set off a chain reaction that shapes the events of one's life. The mind, like the universe, operates in loops and patterns. Negative thoughts often lead to reinforcing cycles of doubt, fear, and limitation, while uplifting thoughts create expanding waves of possibility. Emotional states follow a similar structure. When one feels joy, it tends to grow and spread, attracting more joyful experiences, while sadness can become a repeating loop that deepens with each recurrence. The key is not to resist these patterns, but to recognize them, for awareness itself is what allows transformation. Even history unfolds in fractal loops, where the past continuously echoes into the present. Civilizations rise and fall in cycles. Technological advancements emerge in repeating waves, and the same types of conflicts and resolutions appear throughout time. What may seem like a new era is often just a higher repetition of an old pattern, playing out in a different form. The events of personal life mirror this grand structure. A person's past experiences do not simply disappear. They continue to resonate, influencing the choices, beliefs, and realities they encounter. Understanding these loops allows one to break free from repeating negative patterns and consciously align with higher possibilities. Nothing in existence is separate. Everything is connected through repeating structures that unfold infinitely. The fractal nature of reality is a blueprint woven into all things, from the smallest particle to the grandest cosmic dance. Every thought, every experience, and every moment is part of a greater pattern, flowing through time and space in self-replicating forms. Recognizing these structures reveals that nothing is accidental. Life moves in rhythms and cycles, always offering the chance to observe, understand, and evolve beyond the limitations of past loops. Chapter 4. The Sacred Void. Why true power lies in emptiness. Most people seek power in things that can be seen, measured, or controlled. They believe that strength comes from accumulation of knowledge, possessions, status, or even thoughts. Yet the greatest force in existence is not presence, but absence. It is the space between things that gives them meaning. Just as music is not created by notes alone, but by the silence between them, the true essence of reality is shaped by emptiness. This is the paradox of creation. Nothingness is the source of everything. Before anything existed, there was only the void, no form, no time, no movement, just infinite, silent potential. From this nothingness, the universe was born. Science describes this as the singularity before the Big Bang, a point where everything was compressed into an unfathomable state of emptiness before it exploded into all that is. Ancient spiritual traditions echo this understanding, speaking of the void as the womb of creation, the infinite space where all possibilities exist before they take form. This is not an abstract idea. It is the fundamental nature of reality. Everything that exists first emerged from emptiness, and everything will return to it. This is not destruction, but renewal. True creativity does not come from the mind's endless stream of thoughts, but from the silence beneath them. Before a great artist paints, there is an empty canvas. Before a composer writes a symphony, there is silence. Before an idea is born, there's a moment of stillness. The most profound insights do not arise from thinking harder, but from letting go of thought altogether. When the mind becomes still, it opens a gateway to something beyond itself, a space where inspiration, vision, and clarity emerge effortlessly. This is why great discoveries, artistic breakthroughs, and deep realizations often happen in moments of quiet when one is not actively seeking them. The void is not empty in the way the mind fears. It is the space where all potential exists, waiting to be brought into form. Yet the mind resists emptiness. It fills every silent moment with distractions, seeking constant stimulation, fearing the vast openness that exists beyond thought. People fear boredom, loneliness, and stillness because they mistake emptiness for a void of meaning. But this is an illusion. Just as the sky is not afraid of its own vastness, the mind does not need to fear silence. When one stops filling every moment with noise, something extraordinary happens. The deeper intelligence of existence begins to speak. The most ancient spiritual teachings emphasize this truth. Wisdom is not found in more thinking, but in stepping beyond thought into the infinite expanse of awareness. Stillness is not inaction. It is the most powerful state one can enter because it aligns with the source of all things. A calm lake reflects the sky perfectly, while a stormy one distorts its reflection. The mind works the same way. In stillness, truth becomes clear. In chaos, everything is distorted. Those who cultivate inner emptiness do not lose themselves. They become vessels for something greater. Their actions carry the weight of deep knowing rather than reaction. They move through life with precision, speaking only when words are necessary, acting only when action is aligned. The greatest masters, whether in martial arts, philosophy, or spirituality, all understand this. True power is not in force, but in the ability to remain centered in the vast stillness beneath all things. The void is not nothingness in the way people often think of it. It is pure potential. It is the space from which all things arise and to which all things return. It is the silent, unseen force that underlies existence itself. The more one learns to embrace this emptiness rather than fear it, the more one begins to move in harmony with the deepest truths of reality. The greatest power lies not in what is known, but in the space where all knowing begins. Chapter 5. Time as a fluid construct, shaping your own timeline. Time is often seen as a straight line, moving from past to future in a fixed sequence. People believe they are bound by this forward motion, unable to change what has passed or control what is to come. But this view of time is an illusion. Time is not rigid. It is fluid, bending and shifting based on energy, consciousness, and perception. The way time is experienced is not dictated by an external force, but by one's internal state. It is not a single road leading in one direction. It is a vast ocean, moving in currents that change based on vibration and awareness. In truth, past, present, and future are not separate. They exist simultaneously. The only reason life feels like a sequence of moments is because consciousness moves through it in a particular way. A radio can only play one station at a time, but many frequencies exist at once. Similarly, awareness is tuned to a particular version of reality, experiencing events in a certain order. Yet all possibilities exist at the same time. Every choice, every shift in perception, tunes one into a slightly different version of reality. This is why some moments seem to stretch endlessly, while others pass in an instant. It is not time that changes. It is the mind's relationship with it. Fate is often misunderstood. People believe it is an unchangeable script, that their lives are set in motion by forces beyond their control. But fate is not a single path. It is a timeline one is currently aligned with, just as turning a dial on a radio changes the station. Shifting consciousness changes the timeline one moves through. This is why some people experience repeating patterns in life, feeling stuck in cycles that seem impossible to escape. They are not trapped by destiny. They are simply tuned to the same vibrational frequency, replaying the same timeline. The moment one shifts their inner state, the external world rearranges to reflect this new alignment. Altered states of being create altered realities. A person who constantly lives in regret is unconsciously reinforcing a timeline where past mistakes define the future. A person who believes they are unlucky is aligning with a version of reality where misfortune repeats. But when someone radically changes their perspective, when they release old emotions, expand their awareness, or shift their beliefs, they step into a different stream of time. It is not just their thoughts that change. Reality itself begins to reshape. Events unfold in new ways. Synchronicities appear, and possibilities that once seemed out of reach suddenly become accessible. This is why moments of deep transformation often feel as if time has paused. When someone experiences a profound realization, the world around them seems to stop, as if the structure of time itself has momentarily dissolved. This happens because, in that moment, they are stepping outside of their usual timeline and glimpsing a different one. These moments are not accidents. They are doorways, revealing the fluid nature of time and the power one has to move beyond its apparent limits. Reality is not fixed, and neither is time. The way one experiences life is not determined by an external force, but by the energy and consciousness they bring to each moment. Chapter 6. The Echo Effect. How reality reflects your inner state. Reality is not something outside of you, acting upon you while you remain a passive observer. The external world is a reflection of your internal world, mirroring your emotions, beliefs, and subconscious patterns. Every situation, every interaction, every challenge or blessing you encounter is an echo of what exists within you. People often believe that circumstances shape their emotions, that external events dictate how they feel. But in truth, the opposite is happening. Your inner state is shaping the world around you. When you look into a mirror, the reflection does not appear first. You do. The mirror simply shows back what is already there. Reality functions in the same way. The universe does not impose random events upon you. It reflects the energy you carry. If you hold fear, you will find reasons to be afraid. If you live with gratitude, life will reveal more things to be thankful for. It is not a matter of wishful thinking or blind optimism. It is the simple nature of how energy interacts with itself. The world around you is responding not to your hopes, not to your words, but to the vibration you emit in every moment. This is why struggle often leads to more struggle. When someone fights against their circumstances with frustration and resistance, their energy is focused on lack and hardship. That vibration attracts more of the same. A person who constantly believes they must work harder just to survive will find themselves in situations that reinforce that belief. Not because life is unfair, but because their internal state is tuned to a reality where effort equals survival. The more they push against resistance, the more resistance appears. Reality is not punishing them. It is simply reflecting back the energy they are putting out. The same principle applies to ease and flow. Those who move through life with trust and openness find that things unfold smoothly, not because they are lucky, but because they are aligned with a state of allowing. When someone carries the deep knowing that life supports them, opportunities arise effortlessly, not because they wished for them, but because their vibration is a match to a reality where abundance and ease are natural. Flow is not the absence of action. It is action taken from a place of alignment rather than struggle. When energy is moving freely within, the outer world mirrors that movement. This is why thoughts alone do not change reality. Words, affirmations, and desires mean little if they are not backed by the energy of belief. Someone can say, "I am wealthy 1,000 times," but if deep down they feel scarcity, the universe responds to the feeling, not the words. It is the emotion behind the thought that shapes reality. This is why those who live in a state of love attract love, while those who live in fear unknowingly invite situations that reinforce their fears. Reality is not something happening to you. It is something happening through you. The outer world is nothing more than an energetic reflection of what exists within. Chapter 7. The Power of Non-Attachment. Why letting go unlocks reality. The more you chase something, the further it seems to move away. This is not coincidence. It is an energetic law. When you desperately try to hold on to something, whether it is a goal, a relationship, or a dream, you create resistance. The very act of clinging tells the universe that you do not have what you desire, reinforcing a state of lack. This tension creates a block, preventing what you seek from flowing naturally into your experience. Reality does not respond to words. It responds to vibration, and attachment carries the vibration of fear. The fear of loss, the fear of not having, The fear that without effort, what you desire will slip away. Desire itself is not the issue. Wanting something, a better life, deeper love, greater success, is natural. But the moment desire turns into need, it becomes an obstacle. When you feel that you must have something in order to be happy or complete, you trap yourself in a cycle of longing. This is why people who obsess over money often struggle to make it. Why those who desperately seek love often experience heartbreak. The energy they send out is not one of abundance, but of emptiness. The more they chase, the more they push their desire further away. Reality is simply reflecting the state they are in. Letting go is not the same as giving up. It does not mean abandoning your dreams or resigning yourself to fate. True non-attachment is the ability to hold a vision without grasping, to move toward a goal without fear. It is understanding that everything flows naturally when there is no internal resistance. Think of a river. When water is allowed to move freely, it flows effortlessly. But if you try to grab it, it slips through your fingers. The same is true for all things in life. When you release the need to control, energy moves without restriction, and what you desire is free to manifest. Tension blocks, but trust opens. When you trust that what is meant for you will come, without force or struggle, you align yourself with a reality where things unfold in harmony. Those who achieve effortlessly are not lucky. They are simply in a state of allowing. They know when to act and when to step back. They do not grasp at opportunities, but neither do they ignore them. They move with reality rather than against it. This is the balance of creation. Not pushing, not pulling, but being in sync with the flow of life. Non-attachment is not about rejecting the world or suppressing desire. It is about shifting from fear to confidence, from lack to fulfillment. When you are no longer controlled by needing something to happen, you become free. This freedom is where true power lies, not in struggle, but in openness. The universe responds to ease, not desperation. It is not by clinging that reality bends, but by releasing, by trusting, by allowing energy to move without force. Letting go is not loss. It is the key that unlocks reality itself. Chapter 8. The Final Shift. Becoming the Source. Instead of the seeker for most of life, people believe they must search for something: happiness, love, purpose, success. They operate under the assumption that what they seek exists outside of them, just out of reach, requiring effort to obtain. This illusion fuels an endless cycle of striving, never quite arriving. They chase money, relationships, spiritual enlightenment, or a better version of themselves, believing that fulfillment lies in the next achievement, the next discovery. But as long as one identifies as a seeker, they will always remain in a state of seeking. The very act of searching affirms separation from what is sought, reinforcing the belief that it is not already present. The final shift occurs when one realizes that they are not separate from reality. They are reality itself. The world is not something happening to you, nor is it something you must mold or chase. It is something that moves through you, as you. You are not an outsider trying to access abundance, wisdom, or love. You are the very source of it. What you have been trying to reach has never been apart from you. It has only been waiting for you to stop looking elsewhere and recognize its presence within. This is why manifestation is often misunderstood. Many believe they must attract or create something that does not yet exist using effort, visualization, or rituals. But nothing is truly being created. It is only being aligned with. Everything already exists, as a potential reality, and what you experience is simply a reflection of the frequency you embody. When you are in a state of lack, you experience lack. When you are in a state of wholeness, you experience abundance. The shift is not about forcing external changes. It is about stepping into the version of yourself that already exists in the reality you seek. There is no need to pull anything toward you. There is only the need to be what you are searching for. This shift dissolves the illusion of struggle. Instead of trying to force reality to respond, you move as reality itself. Instead of asking for love, you become love. Instead of seeking wisdom, you embody it. Instead of chasing after success, you step into the identity of someone who already lives in alignment with it. There is no more waiting, no more hoping, no more effort to bridge a gap that never truly existed. The shift is not external. It is a recognition of what has always been true. When this understanding takes root, everything changes. There is no longer a sense of lack because nothing feels missing. There is no longer a need to prove because there is nothing to prove. There is no longer a struggle to attain because you are already aligned with all that you once sought. The mind is no longer fixated on outcomes because it knows that everything flows naturally from the state of being you choose. You are not separate from reality. You are not an observer watching from the outside. You are the source, the creator, the embodiment of everything you have ever desired. And once this shift happens, the search ends because you have finally arrived. Chapter 9. The Practical Path. What to do to shift reality. Action-based segment. True transformation is not just about understanding concepts. It is about applying them. Knowledge without action remains abstract, but once practiced, it reshapes your experience. The shift in reality does not happen through wishful thinking or passive belief. It happens through a conscious change in how you engage with the world. By implementing specific practices, you step into alignment with a different version of reality, no longer reacting to life, but actively shaping it. Each action serves as a key, unlocking deeper levels of perception and allowing you to move from unconscious patterns into deliberate creation. Stillness practice is the foundation of all inner transformation. The mind is constantly engaged with thoughts, emotions, and external stimuli, making it difficult to perceive the deeper layers of reality. When you enter stillness, you access the void, the space before thought, before identity, before attachment to any specific outcome. In this state, you are no longer entangled in the surface level of existence, but are connected to the deeper intelligence that moves all things. Stillness is not about forcing the mind to be silent. It is about withdrawing attention from the noise and resting in the space beneath it. In this space, insight arises naturally, and reality begins to reorganize itself around the clarity you hold. The void state is where limitations dissolve and new possibilities emerge, not from effort, but from presence. Pattern disruption is the next step in shifting reality. Your life is shaped by recurring patterns, thoughts, emotions, relationships, and events that seem to repeat themselves in different forms. These patterns are not random. They are reflections of the energy you hold. If you do not consciously change them, they will continue to unfold on autopilot. Disrupting a pattern means recognizing when you are about to fall into an old reaction and choosing differently. If you always respond to stress with frustration, pause. If you find yourself repeating negative self-talk, shift to a neutral or empowering statement. If your relationships follow the same cycles of conflict or disconnection, Examine the underlying belief that fuels them. The moment you act differently, even in the smallest way, you create an opening for a new reality to emerge. State calibration is the process of fine-tuning your energy to match the reality you wish to experience. Everything in existence has a frequency, including emotions, thoughts, and experiences. When you desire change but remain in the same emotional and mental state, reality does not shift. Calibration means aligning with the energy of the version of yourself that already exists in a different reality. If you seek abundance, step into the state of someone who already has it, not just in thought, but in feeling and behavior. If you seek clarity, embody the stillness of a mind that already knows. This is not about pretending or forcing a feeling. It is about consistently choosing the internal state that matches the reality you wish to experience until it becomes your natural way of being. Symbol decoding is the art of reading reality's messages. Life is not random. It speaks in symbols, synchronicities, and patterns. Events that seem like coincidences are often reality reflecting your state back to you. If the same numbers, words, or situations keep appearing, they are guiding you toward awareness. Archetypes, dreams, and even interactions with people can serve as clues. When you begin to observe reality as a dialogue rather than a series of unrelated events, you start to navigate life differently. You no longer move blindly. You read the signs and adjust accordingly. The key is to stay open. Do not dismiss synchronicities as meaningless. They are messages waiting to be understood. Identity shift is the final and most profound action. Many people attempt to change reality while still identifying as someone who lacks what they seek. They remain the person trying to manifest, or the person struggling to change, or the person waiting for results. But as long as they see themselves this way, they reinforce that reality. The shift happens when you no longer see yourself as someone who is becoming. You step into the version of yourself who already is. This does not mean faking confidence or forcing belief. It means aligning with the truth that the external world is only mirroring back your internal state. The moment you embody a new identity, not just in thought but in presence, reality has no choice but to reflect it. These actions are not separate from each other. They work together to create a new foundation. Stillness allows clarity. Pattern disruption breaks old cycles. State calibration aligns you with the desired reality. Symbol decoding helps you navigate. And identity shift anchors the transformation. When applied consistently, these practices dissolve old limitations and open the door to an entirely different experience of life. Conclusion: reality has never been something outside of you, something to chase, manipulate, or struggle with. It has always been a reflection of your state of being, the unseen layers, the fractal nature of existence, the fluidity of time, the power of the void, and the mirror effect of reality. All of it has been guiding you to one truth. You are not separate from what you seek. The moment you stop searching and start embodying, reality shifts. Letting go is not losing. It is stepping into alignment. Becoming the source is not becoming something new. It is remembering what you have always been. If you are ready to step beyond seeking and into true creation, affirm it now. Type, "I am the source," in the comments and signal your shift to the universe. If this message resonated, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to join a growing community of awakened minds. The journey is not about learning more. It is about becoming more. Reality is already waiting for you. Step into it.